Hey, Ken the new guy here. About 2 years ago, we documented the installation of my backyard patio featuring Sandy Point granite from Aura Natural Landscapes. About 2 months after the polymeric sand that was in the joints started to flake and actually just kind of come out, I decided to turn to an expert in the field, Greg from SEK Surebond. He can tell me what potentially is happening.
So let's take a look at what's going on the project here. This is a great example. You can see we've got some sand chipping out here. So this is just coming right off the top. Common problem. Peel that right off, and then underneath there, it's just loose sand.
And that's not good. You want that sand. That sand's supposed to be hard like concrete.
It is.
Okay.
When we're installing polymeric sand, again, no matter whose it is, it's important to get it saturated from the top to the bottom. So if I only saturate a little bit of the polymeric sand, you're going to get exactly what you have here. There are some sands on the market now which are rain safe super fast, which is I'm assuming you used here. Unfortunately, they set up so fast to achieve the rain safe that they prohibit the guys, the installers, from actually getting that joint fully saturated.
All right, so what's the fix?
It's actually pretty simple. We're gonna remove the old sand and put new sand in. It's important to remember though, when you take out old polymeric sand, to remove at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches of the old sand before putting in new sand. So there's a couple different tools that we can use to get the jointing sand out of the joints. Number one is like one you can stand up and just scrape out. Number two would be more detailed work with like a 5-in-1 putty knife.
So what are some other options for cleaning out joints?
One of the great options is actually a pressure washer attached to a surface scrubber. The surface scrubber is a great tool. It's very efficient, it's very effective. It does a uniform job so we don't stripe everything with a pressure washer wand. It loosens up the sand so we can easily blow it off the surface. So there's a few key important steps when installing any polymeric sand, no matter what the brand. First of all, we've checked the forecast and we're ensured that there's no rain for the next 48 hours. With PolySweep, I only need 12 hours to be rain safe. So we've already completed most of the second step. The joints are clean and the pavers are dry. When you're replacing polymeric sand with new polymeric sand, we want to make sure that we've removed 1 inch to 1.5 inches of the old sand. Step 3 would be to spread the polymeric sand. We're going to open a bag, and instead of making a pile and bulldozing it across the patio, we're going to drag the bag along and let the sand fall out. That's a more efficient way to spread the bag, and it keeps the polymers and all the ingredients in the polymeric sand properly mixed. Step 4, we're gonna sweep the sand into all the joints to the height of the top of the pavers. 5, we're going to sweep the sand off and make piles of sand around the patio, and then we're gonna blow any excess sand and dust off of the patio. Step 6, we're going to use a roller compactor or a plate compactor with a pad. For natural stone and large format pavers, we do recommend a roller compactor. This will consolidate the sand in the joints, removing any air and settling it down. This will allow the water to be better accepted when we start the watering process. Step 7, we're now going to re-sweep at a 45-degree angle to the joints and properly set the height at a minimum depth of 1/8 inch below the surface of the paver. When we're done sweeping, we're going to remove any excess sand piles, and then we're going to lightly blow to remove any dust and debris that may remain on the surface. Step 8, the most important process, and this is different depending on which polymeric sand you're using, we're going to complete the watering process. For PolySweep, we require 3 waterings. To test to see if your joint is fully saturated, simply take a knife or a screwdriver and dig down into the joint. If there's loose, dry sand on the bottom, you need more water. If the sand stands up on its own and makes a column, then you have enough water. You can tap the sand back into the hole you've created and continue to the last steps. Step 9, the final step, is to make sure you blow any excess water off the surface of the paver. And that's important no matter which brand of sand you're using. And then keep all foot traffic off for a minimum of 24 hours, and vehicular traffic would be 24 to 48 hours.